once you get to know her, she's not so bad. So, yes, she has a lot of opinions, and yes, we didn't agree on all of our opinions, but, I mean, as you can see last night, we resolved them pretty well.
Do you think she always had to have the last word in a conversation?
What woman doesn't? Just kidding. That's gonna get me in trouble. Let's see. No, I mean, yes, she did. Yeah, my answer is yes. She always had to have the last word, which pissed me off. But moving on.
Here's one I got. How do you get your teeth so white?
So how do I get my teeth so white?
Yeah, I got that in the email today.
I use Colgate. I don't know. I did those little tray things. Those like the strips before I went to DC. So that helped.
Well, obviously it worked if somebody noticed.
Yeah, I guess. Well, thank you to whoever sent that, I guess.
Last night you and Ashley went to church. Did you guys go to church every weekend, or is it just once in a while type of thing?
I went to church every weekend, and I think that's all I can say. I went to, not every single weekend, but I went the majority of the Sundays that I was there.
Okay, we're gonna get on the topic of last night's episode, because that seemed to be a hot topic with emails I've been getting. On last night's episode, you defended the drunk guy. Why did you pick him over her? Her being Ashley.
Okay, it wasn't. It was only shown. It only showed a little bit of it. I think it was. I wasn't defending the drunk guy, and I didn't necessarily pick him over anybody else. I just was stating that I think that Ashley was more rude than she had to be. She started yelling at him, within 5 minutes of being there, and that just didn't fly with me, because I'm from a place where you aren't disrespectful or rude to people before you get to know them, and it did show a little bit of the guys kind of hackling us and whatnot, but I mean, they did go away, and then I did start talking to them because I felt bad that Ashley was so rude to them, and then that's where the whole fight kind of spurred from.
Were you laughing your head off last night with the scene when the guys went in the gay bar?
It was hilarious. It was, and another thing that it wasn't, that I guess they didn't have time to show, was they came home and they grabbed me and they said, Mike, we wish you were there. And I said, why? And they said, because you could have defended us. They're like, we felt like meat in a pit of lions, and you could have fended them off. Because the guys, and I have to give them credit for it, the reason that they didn't kind of tell the guys at Nellie's that were hitting on him, the reason they didn't tell him off is because they didn't want to offend anybody, and they were like, well, he's a gay guy, and we don't want to look like we're against gay guys. We just are really uncomfortable in the situation, and they were explaining that to me. So they said that if I told them, if I were there, I would have had no problem telling them off, because gay, straight, whatever you are, you can't be that disrespectful and be all over somebody like that when clearly they're uncomfortable.
Yeah. Why weren't you? Many people ask, why weren't you in that scene last night?
I think that was my first day of work. I think I was working for the HRC that day. So I'm pretty. I'm sorry.
Excuse me. Sorry. You can go.
Oh no, I'm pretty sure that I'm going to be for the rest of the season. I'm going to be working a lot more. Because I worked 3 days a week minimum, so I worked more than anybody else, and so I think that you'll start seeing me maybe not be in the scenes during the morning, and then I'll start being in the scenes later on. I guess, I don't know.
So far, I know you can't say anything that has not aired yet, but so far, is there anything you missed that has aired that you wish you were a part of?
If I could have gone with those guys and kind of been there at Nellie's when that drunk guy was all over him, and been there to kind of calm the storm and say, hey, dude, you know what, obviously they're not into you, walk away, like take a hike. I think that would have maybe given my roommates, at least in the beginning, a better image of I guess gay bars in general, like a gay sports bar, because I loved Nellie's. I loved going to Nellie's. It was an awesome place. and my roommates, the guys, would never want to go back with me because of that one bad experience. And so if maybe I could have been there to kind of tell that guy off, and then we could have just watched football or whatever and just hung out and had fun, then I think that they would have gone to Nellie's more often with me.
Exactly what did you do at HRC, and how did you find out about the job opening?
It was kind of random. I had gone to D.C. Planning to work with the Energy Action Coalition. I had done some research, and I found that they kind of serve as an umbrella organization for like 300 other organizations around the country in setting up and doing the logistics for grassroots organizing, lobbying, and things like that for clean energy and green jobs. And so I was really interested in that because in college I was a part of SIFE. It's Students in Free Enterprise, and while I was in SIFE, I spearheaded a project on contacting businesses around my college and getting them to be more aware of their pollution and their carbon waste and things like that. So going into D.C., I was set up to work for Energy Action and kind of had that mindset, and that was, all fine and well. Well, we're walking down Connecticut, and we pass the Human Rights Store because they have the main human rights building based in D.C., the main home office, and then they have a store where they sell merchandise, which helps fund their larger activities. And so we're walking by the store, and I see a shirt that says "Yay Gay" or something like that, and then there's this rack outside. So I'm looking at shirts, and I'm seeing if there's anything that I'd actually wear, and the manager comes outside and tells me a little bit about HRC. He gives me a business card, and he's like, "Hey, if you're looking for an internship, I think that you should look into HRC." Well, I kind of blew him off, and then later on that night, I was at the house, and I was kind of bored. It was like 2 a.m. I was on the computer, and I saw the business card sitting on the desk. So I grabbed the business card. I go onto the HRC website, and then I was like, hey, this is something that I could be interested in, and this is something that could help me out, to learn politics and learn how the whole system works, which is one of the goals I had going into D.C. So long story short, I applied for the job, and I ended up getting it.
Were you excited when you got it?
Oh, I was ecstatic. It was really nervous actually having my job interview with a camera in my face because I'm a business student and I do mock interviews all the time, and I have, I've had professionals critique my resume and everything like that. And so I was fine with the interview, but I had a camera in my face, and I knew that, millions of people were going to see me during my interview. So if I messed up or said something stupid, it was going to be on national television. So I was kind of nervous about my interview. So when it was over, I was kind of glad that I didn't have to go through that again. But once they told me that I was going to be working with the HRC and doing things with their field team and the political department and working with, I can't say too much, I don't think right now, but I just got to work on a lot of awesome projects, and it really made the whole job, like the whole experience, worthwhile. So I was happy when I got the job, and I was happy the entire time during the job.
I don't know if you can answer this question, but did MTV force you guys in past seasons? They give you a job, and they say if you get this job and get fired, you have to leave. Did they force you to get a job?
I think that MTV cast people this season that they knew would embrace DC and in one way or the other, whether it's the nightlife or the internships or the people or whatever. I think they chose people that were pretty passionate about different things, and so everybody kind of naturally went off and tried to get a job and try to do their own thing. So they really didn't have to push us too hard.
Did the same rules apply if you got fired from your job, you had to leave the show?
It never really came up, so I wouldn't know.
How do you keep so in shape?
I go to the gym and I eat right. I've been studying nutrition for a while since I was younger, and that was actually my minor at UNC. But a couple of the classes aren't going to work out, so I had to drop my minor. But I've always been interested in nutrition, so I eat a lot of lean meats. I eat